Part 35. Why are all of them passive skills? Author, Bulletin G. Bayet. Chapter 348. Then let them fend for themselves. Wu Hongqiu said calmly, most of the people came with them, and it was of little use to them. He didn't care about them now. He would call them all back when they go to Pluto after the auction. Everything was easy when they knew each other. Yejing didn't say anything along the way, he just followed along, and even got a place to live. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to afford a room worth hundreds of thousands of spiritual stones a night. After they settled in safely, it was getting dark. Yejing was assigned to a small room on the first floor. He thought that he would not go out for shopping today and would go to the Holy Light Chamber of Commerce's trading market tomorrow. By the end of the day, a large-scale market should have been established. Liars, adults are all liars. Yejing was lying on the bed, muttering dissatisfied. Didn't the fourth leader say that he was going to take him to the night market to hang out all night long? Why can't he see anyone yet? He couldn't say it, but he still had some vague expectations in his heart. After all, he was a little boy. Just when he was a little disappointed, there was a knock on the door suddenly. Coming. Yejing's heart was shaken, and he hurriedly jumped out of bed and opened the door with a joyful expression. However, it was not the four leaders who appeared in his sight, but Zhao Xingbang. Why is it you? Yejing looked disappointed, turned around and went back to bed. Zhao Xingbang was slightly startled and said, "Then who do you think you are?" "No one." Yejing said casually, "What's the matter with you?" After Zhao Xingbang glanced outside the door twice and found that no one was paying attention to him, he quietly closed the door, approached Yejing, and whispered, "I heard that you are short of money and want to find some money way." Yejing glanced at him suspiciously and nodded, "Well, what's the matter? Do you have a way?" "Of course." Zhao Xingbang laughed sinisterly and said nervously, "Didn't I tell you before that I dug up the inheritance of a big man in the outer city? I was in a hurry that time and took something." Yejing suddenly jumped up from the bed and looked at Zhao Xingbang with a shocked expression. "You are seeking death? You actually want to go there again? Do you want to die? Our Nugget sect ancestors said that those who work in our profession have already put aside life and death. If you die in someone else's tomb, doesn't it count as being buried in peace? Besides, once is familiar again, I can remember all the routes and traps. As long as I go quietly and come back quietly, nothing will happen. If you can't go, don't take me with you." Yejing shook his head and refused. This was not Blue Star and he couldn't cause trouble. If something really happened, there would be no one to clean up the mess for him. Moreover, Jizuku also told him before leaving that in the Sea of Stars, safety is the first priority. Even if he kneels down and kowtows, he must save his life. No one can force him to kneel down, but he can't come to seek death on his own. Zhao Xingbang seemed to have known that Yejing would refuse, and told him the excuse he had prepared. "Do you have the money to go to Holy Light City? I heard that due to the unknown situation on Pluto, this final auction will bring together many of the top secret treasures in the solar system. There is nothing you can't think of, and there is nothing you can't see. Aren't you greedy?" Yejing rolled his eyes. "You can buy it even if you are greedy. How do you know you can't buy it if you don't go?" Zhao Xingbang's tone was full of temptation. "Besides, are you almost 20? Are you still a single virgin? I heard that there are dragon pets for sale at the auction, and they are the kind that can transform. Don't you want to buy a dragon pet that can transform into a beautiful girl, take it home and raise it, let her call you master every day, and then do whatever you want?" Hiss. Yejing took a breath of air conditioning and was greatly moved. This sentence really spoke to his heart. He is almost 20 years old. It's time to have a partner. Yejing stared at Zhao horizontal bar solemnly and slowly stretched out a hand. "Done." Zhao Hanbang smiled brightly and stretched out his other hand and shook it. Let's make a fortune together. As long as it works this time, we will be close friends from now on. Zhao Xingbang was slightly startled and asked tentatively, what if it explodes? Ye Jing sneered, then you go die. The two hit it off immediately and worked together, taking advantage of the darkness to sneak out of the house. Little did they know that someone could see clearly from the window upstairs. Xiao Qinglian looked through the window at the two people walking away with contempt, and said, men are trash. The outer city seemed more lively at night than during the day, and many non-human creatures suddenly appeared on the streets. Maybe it was because they did not dare to go out during the day for fear of being killed and eaten. Where are we going? Ye Jing asked. Go to the inner city. The old immortal lives in the inner city. His inheritance is left under the house. When he is alive, it is a treasure house. After he dies, it is said to be the place of inheritance. Zhao Xingbang said, at some point he had held the golden shovel, a special tomb robbing tool, in his hand. He was trembling slightly. He had not worked seriously for a long time, and he was a little excited. Zhao Xingban had been to that place once before and was very familiar with the road. Taking advantage of the darkness, they didn't have to slow down their speed. After more than half an hour, they arrived at the place. This is the interior of the outer city. Those who can live here are all big shots without exception. Of course, they are big shots who have been driven out of their native star land. Each house covers an area of about 1,000 square meters, and the price is several times that of the outer city. To be able to settle down here, you must have a lot of money. Zhao Danggong pulled Ye Jing against the wall, pointed to a house a few hundred meters away, and whispered, see, that one. Ye Jing looked over along his finger, and after looking far away, he couldn't help frowning and said, the lights are on, that old guy won't be at home, right? Zhao Danggong waved his hand, such a small matter doesn't matter. This is not a small matter. Ye Jing said speechlessly, then how should we get in? We won't force our way in, right? Forced entry is really boring. Zhao Danggong stamped his feet, waved the golden shovel in his hand, and said proudly, of course, dig a hole. My shovel can not only separate the space, but also be used as a shovel. Ye Jing glared, dig from hundreds of meters away? Aren't you afraid of being discovered? Don't you have me? Zhao Danggong smiled, I really can't do this kind of work alone. When I dig the tunnel later, you keep watch for me. At all costs, don't let others get close. Is this reliable? Ye Jing hesitated and wanted to say something, but Zhao Danggong had already started to act. He found a dark and hidden place without lights, squatted on the ground and started digging. Why are all of them passive skills? Author, Bulletin Ji Bayet. Chapter 349. It's true that Ye Jing saw Zhao Danggong's speed was quite fast. It was probably because of practice. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared and dug underground. And he didn't dig out any soil even after digging. I guess he threw all the soil into the space. Since Zhao Danggong had already started to move, he had nothing to say. He had to lean against the wall outside the alley, hugging his arms and watching the passers-by. In fact, this is not safe. The guy with water in his brain would stand against the corner in the middle of the night. If it was in the Demon City, you would be taken back by the guards in less than 3 or 5 minutes. But now it is in the outer city. Everyone has their own things to do, and no one has time to meddle in other people's business. Ye Jing took advantage of this free time to look at his current total assets. It would be better if he didn't look at it. He felt uncomfortable when he looked at it. An interstellar battleship with a plus sign, 7 aircraft, and 13 fist-sized obsidians. It's gone. Apart from some miscellaneous garbage, these are the only valuable things. The enhanced and modified interstellar battleship may be worth some money, but he can't sell it. In the sea of stars, the interstellar battleship is a treasure. After selling it, he can't even go back to the blue star. 7 aircraft can be sold, but is this kind of thing valuable in the outer city? It would be good if they can be sold for 20 million in total. 13 obsidians, weighing more than 1 pound, are only worth a few million. Calculating what he can sell, the total value is only more than 20 million. Not to mention buying things, he doesn't even have the qualifications to enter the auction. Poor Yejing couldn't help but wail in his heart, which also strengthened his idea of making a fortune. He didn't know if he would have the opportunity to come to the outer city again. If he didn't buy something on Dobeo this time, it would be a wasted trip. It was said to be a lookout, but it was actually very quiet. There were few people on the streets in the inner city at night. Even if someone saw Yejing, they would just treat him as a small gangster and didn't communicate with him at all. More than half an hour later, there was a rustling sound behind him. Turning around, Zhao Danggong climbed half of his body out of the deep pit and whispered to Yejing, "Come. Come here quickly." Yejing looked around and felt that no one was paying attention to the side, so he jumped into the tunnel. "Did you finish digging so quickly?" "Langxiang brand gold shovel, what do you think?" Zhao Danggong said proudly. When Yejing jumped in, he got a black cloth from somewhere, sprinkled some soil on it, and covered the pit. Then, he transported more than a dozen cubic meters of black soil through the air, and finally blocked the hole, completely sealing it up. Seeing such a fast movement, Yejing couldn't help but sigh, "Why are you so skilled? Keep a low profile, it's all a way to make a living." Now the tunnel was pitch black. Zhao Danggong took out a large lighting lamp and illuminated the road ahead. "Let's go, don't forget to cover up the realm aura." The two of them walked along the tunnel, walked a few hundred meters lightly, and stopped. There was no way in front of them. What blocked them was an invisible energy barrier, which could not be touched or destroyed. If it was touched, it would alarm urgently. At that time, this tunnel would be the grave of the two of them. Yejing had no choice but to turn around and ask, "What should I do?" Zhao Danggong looked confident, took off the golden shovel from his waist, and slashed at the energy barrier in front of him. Instantly, a scene that stunned Yejing happened. A faint golden ripple surged on the golden shovel in Zhao Danggong's hand, and directly hit the energy barrier. "Are you going to die?" Yejing swallowed the words before he could even say them out loud. The moment the golden ripples crossed the energy barrier that blocked their path suddenly cracked open, a crack that could only allow one person to pass through. In a flash, the moment the crack appeared, Zhao Danggong rushed in directly, and the moment he entered, he did not forget to throw his golden shovel to Yejing. The energy barrier was only blocked for less than a second, and after Zhao Danggong entered, it returned to normal. Yejing stared blankly at the golden shovel in his hand, and then looked at Zhao Danggong behind the energy barrier, and couldn't help but wonder, "You're in now. What do you think? This is an ancestral treasure that can block all energy and cut any space. Otherwise, how can I enter and exit the inheritance tomb so easily?" After Zhao Danggong showed off for a few words, he urged, "Don't waste time, hurry up, come in." Yejing said, "Why am I going in?" After Zhao Danggong was slightly stunned, he said anxiously, "Of course, we steal treasures together to make money." Yejing nodded and said, "But, I have already got the treasure." He waved the golden shovel in his hand and said happily, "This thing should be very valuable. People should not be too greedy. I will give you the rest. I will withdraw first." Yejing thought about it and decided that the treasure he got was safer, so he sold it to Zhao Danggong directly. As he said that, Yejing really turned around and walked back. This move really made Zhao Danggong dumbfounded. He was immediately panicked and almost fell on the energy barrier in a panic. "Yejing! Brother Yet! Brother Jing! Don't leave. What the hell will I do if you leave? Hey, hey, hey. Don't tease me, big brother. I can't get out. Yejing turned around and said with a smile, if you can't come out, wouldn't it be beneficial to me? Child, let me tell you something, this world is not as beautiful as you think. Brother. Please let me go. Call me daddy. Dad. Call grandpa. Grandfather. This is really just to survive, regardless of any dignity. Yejing was just joking, teasing him, and cheating on his accomplices was too dark for him to do. With tears in Zhao Hanbang's eyes, Yejing gently opened the energy barrier and walked in. The moment he entered, Zhao Xingbang pounced on him, snatched the golden shovel back, and cursed angrily, "Shit! You actually scared me and took advantage of me." Yejing shrugged his shoulders and said, "I'm just trying to liven up the atmosphere. If you really feel that you're at a disadvantage, just call me back. Then call me daddy. Roll. Bah, men are all big pig hooves." Zhao Xingbang suppressed the anger in his heart, work is still important now. This energy barrier covers the entire mansion of the boss above. If they pass the energy barrier, it means that they have entered the underground of the mansion. At this time, even Yejing couldn't help but get a little excited. It's a little inexplicably comfortable. Mata, go dig the treasure trove of the top boss in the extraordinary realm. Just think about it and it will be exciting. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Why are all of them passive skills? Author, Bouletin G. Bayet. Chapter 351. After passing the energy barrier, it is no longer an ordinary wall. There is a faint thunder light flowing on the walls on both sides, and the sizzling sound keeps ringing. From time to time, there will be a few thunder currents flowing out of the wall and shooting towards Jing and Zhao horizontal bars. At this time, the magical effect of the mysterious golden shovel in Zhao Xingbang's hand was revealed. Just by tapping on the flowing current, the current disappeared silently, as if it had never appeared before. I don't know what the principle is. When I asked Zhao about the horizontal bar, he said that it blocks energy. I'm afraid this is not that simple, right? Yejing secretly wondered in his heart, if it was as he said, the Nugget sect had 1,000 generations of single generations, counting 1,000 generations up, wouldn't it really be true that the sect of the previous era had survived, right? When you go back, ask Xinglian if there was a sect called Nugget Gate in the last era. Walking slowly in the passage full of thunder energy, you are already directly underground in the mansion. If there is any disturbance, it will attract the attention of the people above. While moving forward cautiously, Yejing suddenly stopped and moved his gaze to the wall. He pointed at the wall with a speechless expression and said, "Did you write this?" "What?" Zhao Xiangbang was slightly stunned. He had long forgotten what he had written when he came last time. He followed Yejing's fingers and suddenly realized, "Yes, I almost got caught when I came last time. I'm a little bit uncomfortable, I'm willing to leave this." There is a row of small characters engraved on the wall of lightning. Nuggets Zhao Xingbar is here for a visit. You will definitely be rewarded if you come back next time. So naughty. Zhao Hanban said nonchalantly, "You have to leave some fame in this world. I don't have the ability to spread my name throughout the sea of stars, but I do have the ability to spread my name throughout the cemeteries in the sea of stars. It's just that I feel like I'm a bit unlucky. Take this one, for example. The big boss doesn't live here, so he can't come here for several years. But when I came last time, he happened to come back. When I came here this time, they are back again, so unlucky." Saying that, Zhao Xingbang sighed with a sad look on his face. He came back empty-handed last time. If he hadn't run so fast, he probably would have stayed there. I don't know what will happen this time. Ye Jing touched the writing on the wall, and for some reason, he suddenly felt an impulse. After thinking about it for a while, he couldn't hold it back. Blue Star, Ye Jing is here for a visit. Don't be afraid of leaving your name. Anyway, there are not even 100,000 but 80,000 people named Ye Jing on Blue Star. Who knows who wrote it? His name is not as special as Zhao Xingbang's name, and he also left his sect name behind. After finishing writing, Ye Jing nodded with satisfaction and asked casually, "Do you know the name of this big boss?" "What's it called?" "Not sure." After thinking about it for a moment, Zhao Xingbang frowned and said, "It seems like he is a big shot on Blue Star." "Who is he called, Thor or King Li?" "I also forgot that in this day and age, there are too many people who give themselves such middle-class names. Who remembers who?" After Zhao Xingbang finished saying this, he heard a thump in his ear. He turned around and saw that Ye Jing suddenly fell to the ground for some reason, with cold sweat dripping from his head and trembling all over. At this time, in the main hall of the most luxurious villa in King Li's residence, King Li was sitting on the leather blanket of the extraordinary monster, holding a glass of bright red dragon blood wine in his hand. In front of him, Li Hui was reporting all the arrangements of King Li's forces in the outer city. Since Li Hui safely retreated from Gukan, he has been staying in Liwang City for seclusion. It was not until he broke through the destiny barrier and entered the extraordinary world some time ago that he was released by King Li and arranged to handle the affairs of Liwang City. As Li Hui was talking, he suddenly felt that King Li was distracted and couldn't help but ask, "Uncle Wang, what's wrong?" Even though Li Hui looks like a middle-aged man in his 40s, and Li Wang looks like a man in his 30s, there is a real age gap. Li Hui's father is King Li's brother. The two are connected by blood, so King Li has always supported Li Hui. Nothing. King Li shook his head, with a trace of amusement flashing in his eyes. After shaking the wine glass in his hand, he drank the dragon blood wine in one gulp. It's just that two mice entered the treasure house below the mansion. The treasure trove under the mansion. Li Hui lowered his head and looked at his feet, frowned and said, "This treasure house contains 1/10 of Uncle Wang's property, don't you need to take care of it?" King Li chuckled lightly, pointed to the incongruous black door on the right side of the main hall, and said, "No, since the last time a thief entered, I sent someone to reset the treasure house. After reaching the end, there will be a door. There will be a door leading here." As he spoke, a faint trace of anger emerged from King Li's body. Unknowingly, with a sudden force in his hand, he clenched the noble crystal cup tightly into pieces. "I would like to see who dares to steal my things, King Li. My door is always open. Welcome." Underground in the garden. As soon as Ye Jing heard the word Li Wang, his legs were so frightened that his legs became weak. He lost his footing and fell directly to the ground. Cold sweat was flowing down his forehead as if he was asking for money. Stealing something, stealing it to Wang Li's house? This is really life-threatening. He had only met King Li once, and that was at the founding ceremony of the Crescent Empire. King Li broke through the ceiling of the hall and entered, unscrupulously and arrogantly domineering. The rumors on Blue Star were either that King Li had destroyed another alien race on a small planet fragment, or that King Li had looted someone's treasure. But I have never heard of anyone daring to disturb King Li. They were so brave. Not only did they disturb the soil, they also dug a hole. Rumors about King Li's cruelty and bloodthirsty killings spread throughout Blue Star. Although I have never seen it with my own eyes, it is certainly not too far off. If the two of them were discovered, it would be the easiest thing to bury them alive. Ye Jing looked at Zhao Hanbar with a horrified look on his face, and said in a trembling voice, "Are you sure you are King Li?" "I'm sure. How could I forget the nickname of Chuyunai?" Zhao Xingbang nodded, looked at the frightened Ye Jing with a puzzled expression, and asked, "What? Do you know him? It would be weird if I didn't know him. Ye Jingma quickly climbed up from the ground and returned the same way without hesitation. He had a little friendship with Li Wangchang, but this small friendship could not make him seek death. Wait. When Zhao Xingbang saw Ye Jing walking back, he was shocked and said, "Why are you going back? We are almost there." Ye Jing was furious. "What am I doing? I don't want to die. Just play by yourself, I'm going back to sleep." "But, you don't have a golden shovel, so you can't break the energy barrier." "Ye Jing, dot. It's so hard for me. Why are all of them passive skills?" Author, Buletin Ji Bayet. Chapter 352. Give it to me, I want it. No, stop dreaming. Zhao Danggong held the golden shovel tightly, looking at Ye Jing with a vigilant expression, not daring to relax a bit, for fear that Ye Jing would snatch it away if he didn't pay attention. Ye Jing's face was dark, and he wanted to cry but had no tears. "Brother, you want to die, don't drag me. What are you afraid of?" Zhao Danggong was fearless, patted Ye Jing's shoulder, and said, "Come quietly, leave quietly, come and go without a trace, who knows you have been here? Oh, by the way, you seem to have left your name, don't forget to wipe it off when you go back later." To be honest, Ye Jing has always had an ominous premonition in his heart, and his agile senses seem to be able to detect that someone is staring at him, and he shudders. "Don't you want money? Don't you want a dragon maid? Take a quiet trip, and you will have everything." Zhao Danggong's voice echoed in Ye Jing's ears like a devil's whisper. Ye Jing struggled, hesitated for a moment, gritted his teeth, and nodded fiercely, "Let's go. Damn, the dragon maid is so delicious. There is a reward for every effort, and a 100% profit can make people take risks, not to mention this 10,000 profit thing. What's wrong with risking your life? At worst, you can take off your clothes and run away. Are you sure you still know the way?" Ye Jing said while avoiding the triggerable lightning on the wall. Zhao Danggong carefully blocked the harassment of the lightning with a golden shovel, and replied confidently, "Of course, I can't forget it. There are still 100 meters to turn. After turning 3 corners, we will be there. 100 meters, turn." Ye Jing pointed to the front with a puzzled look on his face and asked, "Are you sure? What's wrong?" Zhao Danggong stared at the front, and when he saw the black door not far away, he was stunned. "Huh? Wrong," Zhao Danggong murmured with a frown, and ran to the black door in 3 or 2 steps, groping for a while. "No. There shouldn't be a door here." Ye Jing rolled his eyes. "You didn't confuse the King Lis with others." "Impossible," Zhao Danggong denied it directly. He was not bragging. He had never walked wrong in other people's treasure troves and tombs. "Then what is this?" Zhao Danggong hesitated and said, "It should be that I left an indelible shadow in their minds after the last time, but they don't think they can stop me with just one door, right?" As he said that, he scratched the black door with the golden shovel. Wait, Ye Jing's ominous premonition in his heart became stronger and stronger, and he hurried to stop Zhao Danggong's actions, but unfortunately, it was too late. The golden shovel in Zhao Danggong's hand flashed brightly, and a heart-pounding mysterious energy emerged from the golden shovel. With his movements, it directly cut onto the black door. In a blink of an eye, a deep golden mark was scratched in the center of the black door. A few seconds later, there was a loud bang, and the black door collapsed. This loud bang not only startled Ye Jing, but also startled Li Wang and Li Hui behind the black door. Both of them looked sideways. Li Wang witnessed the collapse of the black door on the right side of the main hall, surprised and curious at the same time. "Is this stealing or demolishing the house? Are you really not afraid of death by making such a big noise? Or am I old now? Can't keep up with the development of the times?" The black door fell down, and Zhao Danggong was still smug. "See, This kind of door is like a membrane in my eyes, it will break if you poke it. Yes, yes, you are awesome. Ye Jing now regretted coming out with him more and more. This guy will not do anything unless he makes a big move. Let's go. No matter how many doors he has along the way, no matter what kind of thunder god and lightning king he is, I will demolish them all for him. Zhao Danggong stepped over the black door with a fluttering foot and walked to the other side of the black door. Then I stopped moving. Standing in the same place, motionless. What happened? How come he was so arrogant 1 second, but couldn't even lift his feet the next? Is there another door ahead? Ye Jing followed him with doubts in his heart and stepped into the other side of the black door. A ray of light, a dazzling light came into his eyes, like the light of an incandescent lamp. Ying ying ying. Incandescent lamp? After gradually adapting to the dazzling light, Ye Jing saw it clearly. The place behind the black door, and the people. His. Ye Jing took a breath of cold air suddenly, and it seemed that a chill rushed straight to the top of his head from the soles of his feet. In an instant, his body froze in place, and he dared not move. In front of him was the frightened Zhao Danggong. 10 meters away was the King Li, who looked like he was smiling, and Li Hui, who looked at him with surprise. This stillness lasted for more than 10 seconds before Ye Jing came to his senses. His mind was racing with thoughts and he immediately made a decision. Sorry. I went to the wrong door. Ye Jing bowed deeply to Li Wang and Li Hui with a serious face, then took a stiff step, turned his stiff body, and returned to the back. Stop. Li Wang's faint voice came over, and Ye Jing subconsciously stopped, not daring to take another step. He didn't know how many times he had cursed Zhao Danggong in his heart, his mother Fi Yang and his mother died suddenly. This humming dug directly into someone's face. Explosion. Ye Jing was desperate. Now he was not thinking about whether he could survive, but whether he could choose a way to die. What is yet? Why are you here? Li Hui looked at Ye Jing in surprise. He was surprised when he saw Ye Jing when he first came to Yawai City. He never thought that he could see Ye Jing in Yawai City far away from Blue Star. He would never forget Ye Jing. After all, if Ye Jing hadn't helped him in that incident last year, his entire future would have been ruined, and he would even have implicated Li Wang City. Ye Jing pulled out a smile that was uglier than crying and said, I said I caught a thief who had stolen things from Li Wang and came to confess. Do you believe it? Zhao Danggong, who was originally scared silly, came back to life when he heard this. He stared at Ye Jing and said angrily, you actually sold me out. It's better to let my friend die than to let me die. Ye Jing grabbed Zhao Danggong's shoulder with his backhand, his face full of flattering smiles, and said to Li Wang righteously, Your Highness Li Wang, this man is a Star Sea thief, a habitual thief. Last time he stole from your house, and this time he wants to come and let me catch him again. Bullshit. Zhao Danggong was so angry at Ye Jing's words that his whole body was shaking. When he heard that there was money, he got it faster than anyone else, and when he saw that something was going to happen, he sold his teammates faster than anyone else. Really shameless. What else can he do? Self-destruct? Ye Jing is a man who cannot be trusted. I just said that I came to steal the treasure house, and he insisted on having a share. Come on. Let's die together. Why are all of them passive skills? Author, Bulletin Ji Bayet. Chapter 353. Poor clown, poor performance. The king of Li looked at the two men with a playful look on his face, and he wanted to laugh for some unknown reason. He first looked at Zhao Danggong, and he was also familiar with this figure. It was Zhao Danggong who came to steal his treasure house once. At that time, he was busy, so he didn't chase him and just saw a back figure. I didn't expect this person to be so bold. He didn't succeed the first time, but came again the second time, and this time he brought his accomplices with him. The king of Li looked at Yejing again. This was the second time he saw Yejing. The first time was at the founding ceremony of the New Moon Empire. At that time, he fell from the sky very arrogantly. He thought he had been in the limelight enough, but who knew that after a while, several little ghosts also fell from the sky and stole his limelight. One of them was Yejing, another was the eldest son of the Edward family, who had a good relationship with him, and the remaining one was the eldest prince of the New Moon Empire. Except for Yejing, these three people all had some status. Although it was his first time to see Yejing, he had heard the name Yejing before. The first time was in Li Hui's mouth. When the Omega sublight fell over the lonely city and the whole city was in danger, this kid jumped directly from the small planetary fragments hundreds of thousands of meters high in the sky, and cooperated with Gray of the Edward family to transfer the Omega sublight away in a mysterious way. When he heard it at that time, he was still very surprised. Even ordinary space equipment could not withstand the energy of Omega sublight, which was very advanced and had strong annihilation damage. How did he, a small human-level kid, transfer it away? This was also a doubt in his heart. If you want to transfer the Omega sublight, you must touch it, right? Even now, if he wants to reach out and touch the Omega sublight directly, he needs to take some precautions, not to mention Yejing at that time. This was the first time he heard Yejing's name, and the second time was more coincidental. That was when he was in the Magic City. The extraordinary magic beast White Whale flew out from the depths of the mountains. He originally wanted to hunt the White Whale, but before he could get the equipment ready, he heard that the White Whale was led back to the depths of the mountains. At that time, he casually asked who did it. This was the second time he heard Yejing's name, and it was this time that Yejing, a little person, was truly remembered in his heart. Shut up. Thinking about it, King Li suddenly felt the noisy noise in his ears, frowned, and said lightly. The three light words instantly made Yejing and Zhao Danggong honest, lowering their heads with low eyebrows, like children who made mistakes. Now, this approach is the most correct. When children face adults, especially when they are several times older, they must admit their mistakes. Generally speaking, adults will not care about children. After all, they are children. If they make mistakes once or twice, they can still be forgiven. Although they are not related by blood, in a broad sense, King Li protects the humans of Blue Star, and he is the elder of all children. But, does King Li really buy this? Okay. It still works. King Li really didn't know how to deal with Yejing and Zhao Dangang, and he hesitated in his heart. If he had dealt with people in their 50s and 60s, or other alien races, who dared to run wild in his treasure house, it is estimated that there would be no ashes left now. However, Yejing is not even 20 years old now. Zhao Dangang is only in his early 20s, how can he do it? Yejing. King Li poured himself a glass of dragon blood wine, and after a moment of silence, his eyes fell on Yejing. Here. Yejing was shocked, and hurriedly stood up and responded loudly. You helped Li Hui get out of a big case last year, and it can be regarded as a small favor owed by Li Wangcheng. This favor is not big, but it is still very useful to you now. King Li said calmly, now I have 3 fingers of Wang Lei, which is considered a punishment. Do you choose to resist it, or use up this small favor and no longer owe Li Wangcheng anything from now on? What's going on? King Li, who is at the peak of the transcendent realm and is known as the Thunder God, actually wants to hit him. As expected, the child made a mistake and got beaten. Although he didn't know what level of attack power the Three-Finger King Thunder King Li was talking about, he certainly couldn't handle it so easily. In fact, if he wasn't strong enough, he might die suddenly. But Yejing's eyes were firm, and he said very decisively, I choose the first one, to withstand the Three-Finger King Thunder. To be honest, If it was 4 fingers or 5 fingers, he would hesitate for a while, but with 3 fingers and 3 attacks, he thought he had nothing to hesitate about. What's more, what he was using in exchange was the favor of King Li City. This was even more precious. If we only talk about what he is good at, I feel that life-saving defense is even stronger than his attack power. First, he still has the full blood shield value of Orphan's Way on him, which can withstand damage equivalent to 100% of his health value for him. King Li can't just hit it twice with one finger, right? Second, superb physique allows him to quickly recover to a healthy state when seriously injured, which also allows him to withstand an attack. Third, War of Sorrow can directly offset a fatal injury. Even if it is not fatal, Yejing can send his head up and force it to be fatal. These 3 passives are equivalent to his 3 lives. In terms of survivability alone, he is still very strong. Are you sure? King Li looked at Yejing in astonishment. He thought Yejing might agree, but he didn't expect Yejing to agree so readily. He couldn't help but give Yejing a few more points in his heart. After all, in his heart, the young people of Blue Star must be brave and move forward, not afraid of strong enemies. Only such young people have a future. Sure. Yejing confirmed again. King Li turned his head and looked at Zhao Danggong, who was trembling and pretending to be dead. His tone was not so good when facing Zhao Danggong. He said coldly, "I don't care who your elders are. 3-finger King Lei, eat it or not, choose it." Eat. Zhao Danggong shuddered all over and screamed hurriedly. Is there any choice? If you eat the 3-finger King Lei, you may survive. If you don't eat it, you will really die. Moreover, since Yejing dared to accept this punishment, what is he afraid of? Good. The young people of the human race are courageous, and only in this way can they support the future. King Li praised loudly, drank the dragon blood wine in his hand, and suddenly threw the wine glass to the ground. Li Hui, you go outside first. Yes. After Li Hui left the main hall, King Li slowly stood up. As he stood up, his power became stronger and stronger, and the thunder power in the air was gathering. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Why are all of them passive skills? Author, Bouletin G. Bayet. Chapter 354. The spiritual energy existing in the space is not fixed. The water spiritual energy in the ocean accounts for 99%, and the fire spiritual energy in the volcano accounts for 99%. And converting other types of spiritual energy into the type of spiritual energy used by one's own, this can only be done by the transcendent realm. That is, the power of the field. The extraordinary realm opens its own exclusive domain, and all the auras within its coverage will be converted into auras of the same attribute as its own. At the same time, the aura intensity will also be increased to 100%, and the aura concentration will be increased to 100%. Moreover, the most exaggerated and perverted point is that as long as there is spiritual energy in the domain, the spiritual energy in the master's body will be continuously supplied. No matter how many times you use your ultimate move, as long as the aura in the field is not exhausted, you can continue. The realm is equivalent to the exclusive perpetual motion machine of the extraordinary realm. When King Li stood up, the expressions of Yejing and Zhao Xingbang changed instantly. They felt that the spiritual energy contained in the surrounding space became violent with King Li's movements, rushing towards King Li like a tornado. Thunder God's domain. There was endless indifference in King Li's eyes, his lips moved slightly, and these 4 words seemed to be a controller, controlling everything around him. In the blink of an eye, the space with a radius of 100 meters changes color instantly, endless thunder flows in the space, white thunder and dark thunder are interacting, purple thunder and red thunder dance together. After the thunder god's domain expanded, it seemed as if even the surrounding space had shifted. Yejing and Zhao horizontal bar seemed to be pulled from one space to another. There is no longer a ceiling above the head, but dark clouds with no end as far as the eye can see. Covering 100 meters in all directions, there are dark blue barriers blocking everything, making it impossible to escape even if you want to. This is not the full strength of King Li, it is only a 100-meter field. Any transcendent realm can do it. If King Li fully expands the field, it can even cover a radius of 10 miles. Unfortunately, this is not in the Sea of Stars, nor on the battlefield, but in the outer city, and even he cannot open the domain with great fanfare. Endless thunder power fills the field, and the aura of other attributes has disappeared. Let's start, whoever comes first. King Li looked at the burly Yejing and Zhao horizontal bar expressionlessly, and said calmly. Yejing and Zhao Xingbang looked at each other, both wanting the other person to talk about the power first. Rock, paper, scissors. Okay. King Li. A few seconds later, Yejing looked at his clenched fist with a look of joy on his face, while Zhao Xingbo looked at the scissors he stretched out with a look of despair. Bring it on. Yejing hurriedly retreated to the edge of the field to watch. Zhao Hangbar gritted his teeth and directly released the full power of the golden shovel. The dazzling and flashing golden light competed with thousands of thunders in the thunder god's domain. Just like a light bulb facing the sun. King Li looked at Zhao horizontal bar with cold eyes, and gently raised his right hand, stretched out an index finger, and pulled a white thunder in the void space. White thunder shone and circled around King Li's fingertips, exuding a peaceful and lifeless aura. Bai Wang Lei, go. Li Wang's fingertips pointed directly at Zhao's horizontal bar, and a white thunder filled with the aura of death suddenly shot out. Zhao Hangang held the golden shovel tightly with both hands, a trace of cruelty flashed in his eyes, and he forcefully waved the golden shovel and slashed it horizontally in the void. Third form, break through the sky. As soon as Zhao Hanban finished speaking, a golden thread suddenly appeared from the golden shovel and stood horizontally less than half a meter in front of him. The moment the golden thread appeared, a dark streak was cut into the space in front of Zhao Hanban. Crack! At the same moment, Bai Lei roared over, crashed straight into the cut space, and entered another space. Success! Zhao Xingbang looked at Bai Lei disappearing in front of his eyes, his face showed joy. He used the air-breaking ability of the golden shovel to cut the space in front of him and directly banished Bai Lei. No confrontation, no harm. You think too simply. King Li witnessed the scene and said calmly. What? Zhao Xingbang was slightly startled. Before he could realize what he meant, he saw that the golden thread cutting the space was broken. The next second after the golden thread was broken, the space that had been cut was shattered directly, and a gloomy white thunder rushed out from the exile space and hit Zhao Xingban's body directly. Ah! A scream of excruciating pain came out of Zhao Hanbang's mouth. He fell to the ground instantly, his whole body was blackened, and white smoke came out of his ears, nose, and mouth. Yejing shuddered as he watched Zhao horizontal bar turn into such a tragic situation in the blink of an eye. King Li said, "Can you still bear it?" The time was silent for a few minutes. Zhao Xingbang climbed up from the ground with difficulty, raised the golden shovel tremblingly, and said with a pained face, "It is natural to be caught and punished for rummaging through someone's treasure house. Continue. If you do what you do and love what you do, you will be at ease unless you are caught. If you are caught, you will have to accept your fate." Good. King Li pulled another thunderbolt from above to the tip of his finger. This time it was a red thunderbolt full of violent aura. Red King Thunder. He bent his index finger and flicked it lightly. The red thunder on his fingertips was like a bomb with the fuse ignited. It shot out from the barrel at high speed and hit Zhao horizontal bar. "I'm so stupid that I came to dig through Wang Li's treasure house." Zhao Xingbang felt the violent aura locked on him, and secretly cursed himself, but he still had to take action. This time, the power of the red thunder was much stronger than the last white thunder. Zhao Danggong didn't have time to think, so he drew a golden circle on his chest with the golden shovel. The circle appeared in 7 layers. The seventh form, 7 golds covering the sky. 7 layers of defense, each layer is stronger than the last. Sure enough, the guys who can make waves in the starry sea alone are not good guys. Zhao Danggong doesn't know how many cards he has not played. If he encounters an enemy of the same level or even a higher realm, he won't be so miserable. Unfortunately, the Li Wang he met is one of the best in the peak of the extraordinary realm. The red thunder bombarded the 7-layer golden circle like a cannonball, and it exploded in just a moment of contact. Boom! A deafening roar came, and the 7-layer golden circle shattered. Zhao Danggong's eyes widened, and his pupils were full of reflected red light. The moment the 7-layer golden circle was broken, he was blown away, flying high in the sky, and hit the barrier of the thunder god's domain heavily, fell to the ground, and fainted. This time, his brain was shocked and he couldn't get up in a short time. Li Wang glanced at the unconscious Zhao Danggong, shook his head secretly, and turned his eyes to Yejing. He owes one finger, it's your turn. Yejing, Is it too late for me to use that favor now? Why are all of them passive skills? Author, Buletin Ji Bayet. Chapter 355. Yejing was a little flustered when he saw Zhao Danggong's miserable state. Zhao Danggong first used a golden shovel to cut open the space and exiled Bai Lei, but Bai Lei directly shattered the space. Later, he made a 7-layer golden shield that seemed very powerful, but he couldn't even withstand the attack of Hong Lei and was directly knocked unconscious. Now he still lacks Wang Lei. Can I hold on? Yejing asked himself, it seems a bit suspenseful. Are you ready? Li Wang was not in a hurry, nor did he urge him, and asked calmly. Okay. Yejing took a deep breath, transferred his golden knife out, and held it in his hand. Coincidentally, his and Zhao Danggong's weapons were both golden, shining with golden light, looking very noble and gorgeous, full of local tyrants. He looked down at the golden knife in his hand. A faint crack appeared on the surface of the golden knife. It was cracked by the special skill of the Golden Knight in the New Moon Imperial City some time ago. Although it was harmless, he didn't know whether it could be blasted out by King Li this time. Oh! The breath of Omega. King Li looked at the golden knife in Yejing's hand and narrowed his eyes. Is this a weapon forged from the piece of Omega sublight? Yejing was slightly startled, then nodded, yes, it was made from the piece of Omega sublight that fell into the lonely city. At this point, there is nothing to hide. At that time, for the sake of security, it was said that it was transferred to the unknown Star Sea, but in fact it was put into his own pocket. After half a year, Yejing is no longer the Yejing of half a year ago, so it doesn't matter if it is said. There are many secrets. King Li said calmly, and he casually pulled out a purple thunder in the thunder god's domain. Purple thunder is the purest thunder power. It has the violent power of thunder and has a powerful destructive power that cannot be matched by other elements. The purple thunder surrounds the right hand of King Li like a dragon, and the crackling sound continues. I suddenly have an idea. As long as you are able to receive my 3-finger King Thunder, I will give you a task to do. How about it? King Li did not rush to blast out the purple thunder, but suddenly said the sentence. Task. Yejing was slightly stunned. What task? Let's talk about it when you survive. King Li's expression condensed, and his rough palm pressed in the direction of Yejing, and the purple thunder like a long dragon rushed towards Yejing. This is not thunder at all. Yejing was shocked, and his expression suddenly became solemn. He held the golden knife in his right hand, from top to bottom, and took advantage of the moment when the purple thunder dragon was not close to him, and chopped it down across the sky. As Yejing chopped horizontally, dazzling golden light appeared from the golden sword, and the thick and strong golden sword energy chopped directly at the thunder dragon. In the dazzling sword energy that no one noticed, there was also a trace of abyssal black. Bang bang bang. The purple thunder dragon roared, rolling up the thunder power that destroyed the sky, and hit the golden sword energy. Not good. The moment of contact, Yejing understood that he couldn't stop it at all. The purple thunder dragon seemed to open its huge mouth, and in the blink of an eye it annihilated the golden light, and even the trace of abyssal power. When Yejing's face changed drastically and he was ready to resist with his sword, a scene that he and Li Wang didn't understand happened. The moment the purple thunder dragon swallowed the golden sword energy, it suddenly fixed its body, and before others could react, it exploded. Yes, it was a self-explosion. The purple thunder dragon that had originally condensed into shape exploded with a bang, turning into the most primitive thunder aura, floating in the field of the thunder god. The first attack of the King of Li was resolved without Yejing being able to figure it out. What happened? Yejing was stunned as he watched the purple thunder dragon disappear in front of him. I was about to be blown up, why did it explode by itself? His eyes slightly gathered, and his expression changed slightly as he watched the thunder power dissipating in front of him. In the purple light, there was still a trace of black aura hidden. The very light black aura had a kind of heart-pounding fluctuation. This is the power of the abyss. Yejing took a breath of cold air. Before, it was the purple thunder dragon that swallowed the abyss power, and the price of swallowing was that it exploded by itself. Unexpectedly, this mysterious abyss power could even affect and resolve the attack of the King of Li. So terrifying. Originally, he thought that the abyss power belonging to the extraordinary end was just a little higher than the omega energy. But now it seems that the situation may be more complicated. Yejing figured it out, but the King of Li was confused. Why? Will it explode by itself? King Li frowned, his dark eyes gleaming with an inexplicable look. He hesitated for a moment and asked, "What did you do?" Yejing said innocently, "I didn't do anything." That's right. King Li thought silently that even if Yejing wanted to do something, he didn't have the ability. Could it be that the thunder god's domain was unstable, and the power of thunder suddenly became violent and exploded? Only this reason could convince himself. Because no one, not even the entire solar system, had ever heard of or seen the real abyss. Although King Li was a little puzzled, this first finger of King Li was also considered a success by Yejing. You won't be so lucky the second time. King Li said lightly, and he attributed this first time to Yejing's luck. Far away on the ground at the edge of the thunder god's domain, Zhao Danggong's unconscious body suddenly trembled violently, as if he was about to make an unwilling sound. Li Wang raised his proud head and stared at the thunder in the sky. After thinking for a while, he pulled down a dark black lightning from the sky. This was a lightning as dark as the universe and as straight as the sky. A thin electric light was like an arrow, held in his hand. Black lightning represents corrosion and death. Although it is not as destructive as red lightning, its lethality to life is the strongest. Because black lightning will corrode the life of living things. At the least, life will be lost, and at the worst, it will be killed directly. Pay attention, this time, you are not so lucky. Li Wang's hand is like a bow and arrow, and the black lightning is an arrow. With a slight movement of his right hand, the black lightning wrapped in the breath of death is instantly ejected. This time, Yejing has figured out what to do. Under the suspicious gaze of Li Wang, he suddenly put down the weapon in his hand, opened his arms, and waited for the bombardment of black lightning without any defense. What does he want to do? Looking for death? Li Wang's face was uncertain, and his fists were clenched. He was struggling in his heart whether to take back the black lightning. He was an elder. It was more like a test of Yejing to punish Yejing. He had no intention of taking Yejing's life. But Ye Jing's move made him in a dilemma. To take it back or not? This is a question. Li Wang hesitated for a while with a gloomy face, and chose to wait and see. After all, he didn't know what Ye Jing would do, and he didn't think Ye Jing was the kind of person who would die. The black lightning silently cut through the space and shot directly on Ye Jing's chest with lightning speed. Hiss. It hurts. Huh. You don't feel anything? Ye Jing was closing his eyes tightly, waiting for the intense pain to sweep through his body, but after a few seconds, he felt nothing. In addition, a voice came to his mind. Under strong attack, the shield value of the Orphan Way is reduced by 99%, and it will be refreshed after 1 hour. The second attack of King Li is completed. Ye Jing is intact. After hearing the prompt sound in his mind, Ye Jing secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Sure enough, King Li's attack was moderate. The shield value of the Orphan Way is his entire vitality. Since it has only been reduced by 99%, it means that King Li has no intention of killing him at all. If the shield of the Orphan Way is directly broken, then he will be scared. However, when Ye Jing heard the number 99, he couldn't help but sweat in his heart. Damn, how dare he play? How is it possible? This time, King Li was not as calm as last time. He stared at the intact Ye Jing with his eyes wide open, and his expression was extremely shocked. He clearly saw it with his own eyes, the black lightning hit Ye Jing exactly, but why didn't it work? It didn't work at all, it just disappeared. Once is a coincidence, twice is not. The eyes of King Li looked at Ye Jing and became deep, with an inexplicable spirit in them. From this point of view, the sudden explosion of the purple thunder dragon for the first time should not be a matter of luck. It must have been done by Ye Jing. Everyone has their own secrets and trump cards, and King Li couldn't ask. He was about to say something, but was interrupted by a wailing sound. Zhao Danggong, who had fainted, suddenly got up from the ground, looked at Ye Jing with anger, and glanced at Li Wang from time to time, and said angrily, "You are cheating." Ye Jing was confused. When did I cheat? If you didn't cheat, how could nothing happen? You should be like me. Zhao Danggong glared at Ye Jing, patted his body that was blackened by lightning, and the pain spread all over, very painful. But look at Ye Jing again. Don't say there are any injuries on his body, even his feet didn't move a step. This is clearly cheating. Ye Jing and Li Wang colluded. He pretended to faint and saw it clearly. The attacks on the two were not the same. He was hit by a real attack, while Ye Jing was just pretending. Oh my God! Zhao Danggong wailed in his heart, even the punishment had to be pretended? Is this the legendary connection pass? Ye Jing looked at Zhao Danggong in anger and grief with a speechless face, not knowing what to say. Since he was willing to think so, then let him think so. Li Wang glanced at Zhao Danggong, who had climbed up, and said lightly, "Are you up? Then continue." Zhao Danggong. "Ah, no." "That what?" Zhao Danggong's face was extremely panicked, waving his hands repeatedly, speaking incoherently, and it was unknown whether he wanted to beg for mercy or not. Li Wang didn't listen to what he said at all. He pointed his finger to the sky, and a green thunder full of life fell from the sky, and it struck Zhao Danggong directly without stopping. "Ah ah 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 ah! Dead dead dead! I'm going to die!" Zhao Danggong screamed instantly, and the screams echoed in the Thunder God's domain for a long time. After a few seconds, the screams stopped abruptly. Zhao Danggong looked at his body with a confused face and found something wrong. He was originally covered in wounds and suffered the third blow from King Li without any warning. He should have been killed on the spot, but why was nothing happening now? Isn't that right? More than that, the previous injuries on his body also completely recovered in an instant, as if the previous injuries were all hallucinations. What's going on? Zhao Xingbang said blankly. This is the Shensi Lei, also known as the Third Finger King Lei. King Li said calmly that the three-fingered Wang Lei he mentioned before was this configuration. 2 attacks to test the abilities of Yejing and the others. The third finger is to help them recover from their injuries. After all, they have been seriously injured, so they can't just ignore it. King Li, who seems rough and violent, can also be thoughtful at times. His bloodthirsty and violent behavior are all directed towards foreigners. King Li glanced at Yejing, who was still intact. He twitched slightly recently, but he didn't need it anymore and wasn't injured at all. The punishment was over. King Li waved his hand and all the thunder in the sky dispersed. The thunder god's domain began to dissipate from the inside out. Yejing and Zhao horizontal bar also moved out of the thunder god's space. Looking again, several people returned to the previous villa. Is it done? Zhao Xingbang looked at the familiar scene and said blankly. Yejing nodded, it's over, you're not dead. After the two of them took a long breath of relief, Yejing looked at King Li and asked, what is the mission you mentioned before? King Li did not answer immediately, but shouted towards the door. Li Hui, come in. Wearing formal clothes, Li Hui pushed open the door and walked in, standing in front of King Li with a respectful expression. What are your orders? I feel like it's just easier to tell them that and let them do it. King Li said calmly. That thing? Yejing's heart trembled. Is it something dangerous again? Li Hui nodded, turned to look at Yejing and Zhao Xingbang who looked worried, and couldn't help but chuckle. Don't be nervous. It's not a big deal. It's very simple and suitable for your little things. After a pause, Li Hui said, this time King Li came out of Blue Star and originally went directly to Pluto, but on the way he heard that the Holy Light Chamber of Commerce placed a Thunder Dragon egg in the outer city, preparing to finally auction at auction. Wang Li's original means of transportation has always been the Thunder God ship, but now a Thunder Dragon appears that suits him very well. He is excited and determined to get it. Yejing wondered, what does that have to do with us? Can't we just go to the auction and buy it? Li Hui smiled bitterly and said, there is a senior executive in the Holy Light Chamber of Commerce who disagrees with King Li, and he happens to be the person in charge of this auction. So, King Li is not planning to buy this time, but to rob. But after seeing you, robbing turned into stealing again. Why are all of them passive skills? Author, Bulletin G. Bayet. Chapter 356. The thoughts of the boss are really beyond the comprehension of mere mortals like them. What was the reason that made King Li have such thoughts? Yejing was stunned for a long time before he realized what was happening. He couldn't help but put his hand on his forehead. Wait a minute. Uncle Li Hui, what do you mean by this? I hope you can explain it more clearly. Don't you understand what this means? Li Hui was stunned. I understand. I understand. I wish I didn't understand. According to Li Hui's words, King Li was interested in someone else's Thunder Dragon egg, but that person was King Li's enemy, so he didn't plan to pay for it, but went to rob it. King Li, who had already made his decision, had new thoughts after seeing the two of them again. Yejing and Zhao Xiangbang were able to cross the energy barrier he set up and go directly under his house. They had already demonstrated their extraordinary stealing talents. It would be better if this talent could harm the enemy. King Li thought so. Yejing and Zhao Hanban looked at each other, with a frightened feeling in their eyes. Not quite right, why do I feel so panicked? Yejing hesitated and asked, now, where is the Thunder Dragon egg placed? Li Hui said, Holy Light City. Holy Light City. Is it the super-large interstellar battleship Holy Light City that the Holy Light Chamber of Commerce floats over the outer city? Yejing was immediately shocked, pointed back at himself, and said in shock, you asked us to sneak into Holy Light City secretly, and then stole a very precious Thunder Dragon egg from it. Li Hui nodded, looking at Yejing and Zhao Xingbang with a hint of sympathy in his eyes. King Li nodded, that's it? Well, can you not go? Zhao Xingbang raised his hand cautiously, said in a low voice and tremblingly. King Li glanced at him and said calmly, it doesn't matter whether you go or not. This is just a suggestion. After all, it is a task that I want to entrust to you. It cannot be mandatory. So that's it? Yejing and Zhao Xingbang immediately let out a sigh of relief, with expressions of joy on their faces, as if they had just walked across the Nahi Bridge. Either it seems, or I just walked on the Nahi Bridge. Then forgive me for refusing. Yejing and Zhao Xingba said in unison, there was no difference in their tone and speed, as if they had rehearsed. Oh well. King Li's expression was dull, and no change could be seen. He said calmly with an indifferent expression on his face, in this case, this topic is over. Let's talk about the invasion of the secret treasure house of King Li City. Yejing, dot. Zhao horizontal bar, dot. Sure enough it can't be that simple. Yejing forced a smile on his face, swallowed his saliva, and said with difficulty, didn't the punishment end just now? That's right, the three-fingered King Li cannot be erased easily. Yes. King Li leaned on the sofa and said with a matter-of-fact expression, just now, it was my punishment for invading my treasure house. Next, I suspect that you have evil intentions towards the confidential documents of King Li City and are trying to steal the information of Blue Star Force to which you belong. Confidential documents surrender to aliens. In this case, you may have committed a crime against humanity. As a federal director, I am qualified and obligated to extract confessions from you through words and deeds. Oh my God! Steal Blue Star confidential documents. Take refuge in the alien race. Crimes against humanity. None of these three charges are something they can bear. Not to mention the three of them being pinned down at the same time. King Li is a man who is cruel and ruthless, and his reputation is well deserved. How insidious! At some point, a cold sweat broke out on Yejing's forehead. Zhao's legs were trembling and weak. If he hadn't been holding on, he would have collapsed on the ground by now. Yejing asked with a trembling voice, well, let me ask, what are the standards for torture? Don't worry, you won't die. After thinking for a while, King Li said, one finger is the black thunder with the breath of death, and the other is the green thunder with the breath of life. Infinite loop. Isn't this just to kill them? Yejing was ashamed, I understand, don't you understand this? If he doesn't understand this, it's all in vain. Yejing sighed, stopped struggling, and said feebly, we know, let's go. Isn't it okay to go? After he finished speaking, he hurriedly looked at Zhao Xingbang, winked at him, and signaled him to agree quickly. Zhao Hanbang was stunned for a moment, with a look of horror on his face, go for it. Are you crazy? That's Holy Light City. Yejing directly stretched out his hand and pinched Zhao Xingba's neck, with a dangerous smile on his face, gritted his teeth and said, then whose fault do you think it is? Hurry up and give me a nod, Sabi. It was my fault. Zhao Xingbang nodded subconsciously and showed a smile that was uglier than crying, I'll go, isn't it okay if I go? He wanted to cry but had no tears in his heart. What evil had I done? That's right. He is indeed a good boy from Blue Star, the future elite of mankind. A satisfied smile appeared on King Li's face and he said, actually, it would be best for you two to go. You can enter the Holy Light City without anyone noticing, and Yejing can transfer the Thunder Dragon egg quietly, and that's it? Then go back the same way and it's that simple. If it were that simple, Holy Light City would have been stripped bare by others. There is nothing we can do about it now, and there is still one doubt. Yejing asked, but how do we enter Holy Light City? After all, it is floating above the outer city, and it is basically impossible for ordinary people to get close. You don't have to worry about that. Li Hui intervened and said, the Holy Light Chamber of Commerce will hold a dinner in Holy Light City tomorrow night, and King Li is also invited. When the time comes, you two will be treated as juniors from King Li's city and follow along. Was this a spur-of-the-moment idea, or was it planned long ago? Let's do it like this. You two go back first. I'll ask Li Hui to pick you up tomorrow night. After everything was arranged, King Li issued an order to expel the guests. New. Yejing and Zhao Xiangbang were about to go back the way they came, but they felt something was wrong. After taking 2 steps, they turned around and walked towards the main entrance. Before he could go out, he heard King Li's voice again. By the way, I have something to tell you. As a reward, if you really steal my future mount, I will pay half the price as a reward. Let's go back and check how much a dragon egg is worth. As soon as these words came out, Yejing and Zhao Xingbang suddenly tensed up and their expressions became serious. I am willing to go through life and death for King Li. How much are Brontosaurus eggs worth? Have no idea. How much are dragon eggs worth? Priceless treasure. If it succeeds this time, even if it's only half the price and they share it equally, it will be a huge fortune. Make a lot of money. Thanks for the tip of Uexia solo dance. Thanks to Li Yongsheng for the reward. Newcomer. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Why are all of them passive skills? Author, Buletin Bayet. Chapter 357. The two sneaked out of the outer city residence of the Baidu Star Pirates, and then sneaked back. As soon as she entered the house, she met Xiao Qinglian head-on. Xiao Qinglian's eyes were full of contempt, and she said in a cold and biting tone, "Where have you two been in the middle of the night?" For it. Yejing and Zhao were speechless and didn't know how to answer. They thought about everything in the past 2 hours and suddenly covered their faces in shame. Yejing said, "Don't listen, it's offensive." Zhao Horizontal Bar said, "It's so exciting." Xiao Qinglian, dot. Disgusting. Scum. Trash. Go to hell. Xiao Qinglian's face turned red, she scolded them both angrily, turned around and left angrily. Yejing looked surprised, "Did we say something wrong?" Zhao Xingbang was confused, "No. Forget it, it's normal for little girls to be at odds. Let's find out how much the dragon eggs cost." "That makes sense, let's go." The two of them walked into Yejing's room arm in arm with happy faces, and opened the web page on their mobile phones. 2 leaves, you will know. 1,000 degrees, you know it? The two of them turned on 1,000 degrees. Input, how much does a pound of dragon eggs cost? Kianda replied, "Sorry, dragon eggs are sold regardless of the pound. Please think again with a head full of white turbid drinks." Damn retarded. Input, dragon eggs transacted so far. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Kiandu Encyclopedia appeared. In March of the 77th year of the Great Honkai calendar, the first holy dragon egg in the entire solar system was put up for sale at the Holy Light Chamber of Commerce, and was purchased by an unknown buyer for resources worth a total of 7.7 billion. Shocking. Shock. Ecstasy. 77 billion. The eyes of Yejing and Zhao Xiangbang instantly turned red, with a very bright look of greed in their eyes. My dear. 77 billion. What a concept. Such a huge resource is enough to push a waste to the peak of the extraordinary realm. Damn it. Could it be that the price of Brontosaurus eggs is also so high this time? If he really stole it, wouldn't he make a fortune? Don't panic. Calm down. Keep watching. Yejing took a deep breath and exhaled it deeply. After forcing himself to calm down the shock in his heart, he continued to pull down. In the 82nd year of the Great Collapse, The second dragon egg in the solar system was put up for sale and was purchased by a mysterious buyer for 4.5 billion. In the 83rd year of the Great Collapse, the third dragon egg in the solar system was put up for sale and was purchased by a mysterious buyer for 4.1 billion. In the 117th year of the Great Collapse, the 151st dragon egg in the solar system was sold and purchased by a blue star tycoon for 1.7 billion. The more they looked at each other, the disappointment in their eyes became more and more intense. It turns out that the first dragon egg was so expensive just because it was the first one. When the solar system first collapsed, there were no dragon creatures. The dragon creatures that followed seemed to have all evolved from some kind of lizard that awakened its bloodline. With the progress and development of the times, more and more lizards with the slightest trace of dragon blood have awakened, dragon creatures have become more numerous, and dragon eggs have become less valuable. However, even so far, 153 years after the collapse of the solar system, only more than 100 dragon eggs have been sold. This is not a big number, after all, it is the entire solar system. But it's normal, after all, dragons are such unconventional creatures. The most common and bad lizard, once it awakens its dragon bloodline, is like a carp leaping through the dragon's gate, becoming an extraordinary creature. Even those with powerful bloodline abilities cannot even cope with the three disasters. For example, the flaming dragon located at the highest peak of Blue Star, Mount Everest. No one can afford or dare to offend him. More than a billion, even if it's half price, that's okay, right? Yejing murmured to himself. Zhao Xingbang's eyes were a little blurry. Actually, as long as it exceeds 100 million, I dare to fight. After all, I still have to support the entire nuggets. Yejing turned around and asked doubtfully, "What did you say?" It's nothing." Zhao Xingbang said with an unnatural expression. After the two of them took a breath, they turned their attention away from the price of dragon eggs. After thinking for a while, Yejing said, "The next step is to arrange the guard personnel of the super battleship Holy Light City, right?" Zhao Hanbang nodded with deep understanding. Every time he went to rob a tomb to dig something, he would investigate everything in advance, such as the master's strength, whether the master was dead or alive, and the escape route map. Why do these two people seem to be collaborating when they get together? But can this kind of thing be found online? How will you know if you don't try? Later, they checked the staffing of the Holy Light Chamber of Commerce for this year's final auction on Qiandu. Not to mention, it was really bad, and it was very careful. It should have been released by their own Chamber of Commerce, in order to deter those young people who had other intentions. Just like the two of them. It's okay not to read this information. The more I read it, the darker their faces became, changing from black to green, and from green to pale. In an instant, their hearts sank to the bottom of their bodies. What staffing? The boss of the three disaster realms is specially invited to host the final auction and sit in the Holy Light City. The ultimate treasure trove is protected by dozens of extraordinary warriors for 360 degrees. Hundreds of Destiny Realm guards patrol the Holy Light City battleships 24 hours a day. And the two of them are all little scumbags from the underground palace realm. In other words, under the eyes of hundreds of Destiny Realm, dozens of Transcendent Realm, and one disaster realm boss, these two little scumbags have to sneak into the ultimate treasure house, steal the Thunder Dragon egg, and then escape intact. It starts and ends on the Hell difficulty, and this is simply the Abyss difficulty where there is no life or death. With such difficulty, the two of them actually agreed. Damn it! Yejing's claws immediately became numb, and he pointed at the screen of his mobile phone blankly and said, "Tomorrow is the last day of our lifespan." Zhao Xingbang burst into tears, "Tomorrow next year will be our death anniversary." Suddenly, Yejing stood up suddenly, pressed towards Zhao Hanban with red eyes, pinched Zhao Hanban's neck with both hands, and said angrily, Before I die, I will kill you first to take revenge. Ahem. Let go. Let go. Zhao Xiangbang hurriedly opened Ye Jing's hand, feeling that he was crazy. Why are you blaming me? It's not because you are greedy and you have to take advantage of me. Otherwise, would you be involved in this fatal incident? Zhao Xiangbang said angrily. Yes, you can't be too greedy. Ye Jing said with a look of despair. Actually, it's not time to despair yet. Zhao Xiangbang said suddenly. What else can you do? As long as we work together, we will definitely be able to sneak into Holy Light City and steal the Thunder Dragon egg safely. Roll. Why are all of them passive skills? Author, Bulletin G. Bayet. Chapter 358. The next day, Xiao Qinglian was shocked when she saw Ye Jing and Zhao on the horizontal bar. Their hair was messy, their clothes were messy, their eyes were thick with dark circles, and their eyes were dull. They didn't know what they did last night. After Xiao Qinglian hesitated for a moment, she asked, "What's wrong with you two?" "Nothing." Ye Jing shook his head and showed a dead smile. "I just don't know how to enjoy this last day of my life." "Qinglian, remember today, next year today, don't forget to offer me incense." Xiao Qinglian's whole body trembled. The last day? She couldn't help but conjure up a picture in her mind. After having an affair last night, the two of them suddenly felt unwell when they returned home. After searching online, they found that they had contracted the disease and that they would die soon. AIDS? Xiao Qinglian asked. What AIDS? Ye Jing was a little confused. How could it be related to AIDS? Forget it, today next year, I'll give you a hard time. Xiao Qinglian shook her head and turned back to the house. Ye Jing and Zhao Xiangba were sitting in the hall with ashen faces, quietly listening to the passage of time, waiting for death to come. From morning to afternoon, 4 of the leaders came out and were stunned when they saw the appearance of the 2 of them. You two, did you have too much fun last night? The 4th leader looked like he knew everything, with a wicked smile on his face. Ye Jing thought about the scene last night, with a desperate look on his face. Yes, I just played too much, too much. The 4 leaders patted Ye Jing on the shoulder, sighed and said, young people should pay more attention to their bodies. Although the life essence of us practitioners is as vast as the vast sea, we still need to pay attention to it. As he said that, he took out 2 bottles of blue potion from somewhere and handed them to Ye Jing and Zhao horizontal bar respectively. Keep it, don't forget to drink it next time you go out to play, it will be useful. Okay, thank you, Chief 4. Ye Jing and Zhao Xingbar were confused as they took the blue potion in. After the 4 leaders left, Ye Jing turned to look at Zhao Hanban and asked in confusion, what happened to them? Zhao Xingbang shook his head and said, I don't know. Time passed in a blink of an eye. After a crisp whistle sounded outside the door, Ye Jing and the 2 of them trembled. They looked at each other and saw deep despair in each other's eyes. Coming. Before the 2 of them could stand up, a tall figure rushed into the villa. This was the 3rd leader of the Baidu Star pirate group who had been arranging. When the 3 leaders saw Ye Jing and Zhao walking on the horizontal bar, they rushed over, grabbed the 2 of them, held them under their armpits like little chickens, and strode outside the villa. Hey, hey, hey. 3 leaders. Brother, what do you want to do? Put us down. Ye Jing exclaimed, looking like this is so embarrassing. Stop talking, people from Li Wangcheng are here to find you. Boy, I didn't expect you to actually have something to do with Li Wangcheng. The 3 leaders said, ignoring the struggles of Ye Jing and the 2, he pushed the door open between them and walked out. Ye Jing and Zhao both covered their faces on the horizontal bar. This was so embarrassing. After going out, there was a luxurious aircraft covered in purple thunder, with thunder and lightning flowing on the aircraft. In front of the aircraft, stood a figure they were very familiar with, Li Hui. When Li Hui saw Yejing and Zhao being pinched out from the horizontal bar, he couldn't help but be slightly startled, with a strange look on his face, but he didn't say anything. The three leaders threw Yejing and Zhao horizontal bar to the ground, grinned at Li Hui and said, "Did these two boys bring them?" Li Hui nodded, "Thank you, Third Chief. I'll borrow these two boys for a while. If nothing else happens, I'll be back tomorrow." "What about an accident? I will never come back in this life." Li Hui glanced at the two people on the ground and said calmly, "Get up and leave. King Li is waiting." Yejing now really hopes to see Blue Star's second expeditionary force. After all, the Dean of the Demon Academy is the army commander and he is also a student of the Demon Academy, so he can more or less save his life. Unfortunately, the second expeditionary force has not arrived yet. Yejing and the other two climbed up from the ground with despairing looks on their faces, and walked into the aircraft dejectedly. Li Hui and the three leaders nodded to each other and walked in. The aircraft started, took off directly, and flew to the super battleship Holy Light City, staying directly above the outer city. The final auction this time was of great importance. The Holy Light Chamber of Commerce sent a vice president to preside over the entire auction. If it weren't for the fact that there was another huge matter to deal with, it is estimated that the president of the Holy Light Chamber of Commerce will come too. The auction was held ahead of schedule this time because of the Pluto incident. If some forces hadn't arrived because they were too far away, those big guys would be sitting in the Holy Light City by now, discussing important matters. After the final auction is over, most of the forces will arrive in the outer city. By then, a large-scale battle will be inevitable. It's very close to Holy Light City, only 5 or 6 minutes away. Stop anyone who comes. When the aircraft approached, two practitioners flew in from the outer plate of the Holy Light City battleship and blocked their way. One of the practitioners said, "This is the main ship of the Holy Light Chamber of Commerce. No one else is allowed to enter." Li Hui opened the window of the aircraft and threw a silver ornate invitation over. "We are from Liwang City, and we are invited to follow Liwang to attend the Holy Light Banquet." After the cultivator confirmed the invitation, he carefully checked the people in the aircraft. There was a Li Hui in the Transcendent Realm and two ghosts in the Underground Palace Realm. There was no problem. "Dear guests, please come in." After the two cultivators bowed slightly, they made way. The aircraft stopped on the empty plywood, and Yejing and the others followed Li Hui down. As soon as they got off the aircraft, they saw the figure of Liwang. Liwang was standing at the edge of the Holy Light City warship, stepping on the hard shell, overlooking the entire outer city, watching the beautiful scenery, the breeze blowing, and his clothes fluttering. Very pretentious. Liwang glanced at them lightly and said, "Come in, then go in." He was waiting for them. "We don't want to go in, is it possible?" Walking towards the Holy Light City, Liwang asked casually on the way, "Have you thought of any foolproof solution?" Yejing nodded, "I have." "Tell me." "It's best not to go." Liwang paused slightly, glanced at him very calmly, and said nothing. Young people nowadays. They are so naughty, and the more naughty they are, the more they deserve to be beaten. The nearly 10-meter-long flowing light channel guided them to the banquet hall inside the Holy Light City. Along the way, they could see many big figures with great momentum walking inside.